192 players that make up 64 teams, 2 conferences, 4 divisions each, Light World and Dark World. This is a pretty stacked tournament, and it's going to come down to 2 teams fighting out between Light World and Dark World to see who is the better team in the Link to the Past Randomizer League. This is pretty exciting stuff, wouldn't you say, Dante?
Yeah, I'm super hyped for League to be back. Season 2 looking to be really good. Season 1 was awesome, and pretty much going to build on that hopefully here for Season 2.
All right, so let's get into who we have playing here. Hitsuyan1337 versus Teto. Got Hitsuyan representing Team Awesome and Teto representing Major Mistakes. And the racing mode this week is Open Defeat Ganon, your bread and butter rando combination. How do you feel about this one, Dante?
Well, this is kind of what everybody's used to. So if you were watching the tournament or the main tournament that just concluded and thought, man, I really miss playing or watching people play that mode. Well, here we go again. You get one more week of it before we switch off to different modes. But this is going to be game 2 of these 2 teams playing. It's not a best of 3 series. It's just 2 games. That's the way the league works. So one runner from each team is going to face off against another, and then a different runner for game 2. We did have the first match right before this one. So now we're off to game 2, which is going to be, as Relkid said, Teto and Hitsuyan. Hitsuyan and Team Awesome are the defending league champions. So looking, obviously, to defend that title going forward. Major Mistakes looking to play spoiler here for them and give them an early loss. We'll see how this goes, but looks like we are off.
All right, Hitsuyan starting in Sank, getting nothing but a map, and Teto starting Link South, getting himself a blue mail upgrade. Nice to see a mail upgrade early. Defense early on, I guess, is appreciated.
And it looks like we have a red crystal up in Tower of Hera and a red pendant over in Eastern Palace. Desert just being a normal crystal for us, and we're going to need all 7 of those today.
Ooh, Hitsuyan getting a nice little free bomb drop there off the Chew enemy there. You typically like to get bombs early so you can open up cracked walls in various areas like Kakariko. Uncle dropping a glove for us. I'm sure Teto will gladly take that.
Yeah, the Uncle start route actually kind of paying off here for Teto. Now, I assume Hitsuyan's going to be headed there, sooner than later. But going to go ahead and give us these Lost Woods checks, and Teto going to be following in Hitsuyan's footsteps now.
And I have no idea what sprite Teto is using as Hitsuyan finds a Cane Samaria there.
All right, so Teto going to get the same info Hitsuyan got up in Lumberjack area. Going to be a whole lot of nothing. Hitsuyan opting for the save and quit there after the Lost Woods drop down. Probably going to be farming bombs in the southern part of Hyrule. Maybe get the Uncle play now. We'll see.
No,
right, so
Hitsuyan's proving us wrong here, Dante. He's going to head over to Sahasrah's closet, most likely.
And Hitsuyan kind of following, I don't want to say memes or whatever, but kind of following that strat of there's something always in Pendant Eastern. That seems to be the case most often than not. So Hitsuyan going to be checking out Sahasrahla and probably going to be dipping Eastern.
Hitsuyan making use of Sahasrah's sagely advice on where the green pendant might be. And it is in House of Darkness today. Nothing doing in the back of his closet, though.
Alright, so Hitsuyan opting to save and quit after Sahasrahla, proving that I know nothing about his routing and what he's going to do. So Now Hitsuyan looks to be going to check the uncle route. So Teto going to be farming this this rock here. This is a 50-50 bomb drop, so every time he resets the screen, he's got a 50-50 shot of getting a bomb. There's one, finally. Probably going to try to get 2 or 3. And off to Kakariko we go. All right, so this is our first look at the Kakariko area. Just a heart piece in the first chest. There's a bottle that's going to be nice for checking Sick Kid. A shovel that's going to lead to some nice routing going down to the southern part of Hyrule. 5 rupees, that's kind of useful. We still need a few bucks to get our bottle vendor item in. There's a full heart container. I'm sure these guys are not going to be turning that down. And unfortunately, Teto gonna throw the bomb to the right there. Oh, does get 3, so getting bailed out. That's always nice. Gonna be able to check this anyway. There's the Quake medallion. Yeah, so Hitsuyan making his way through escape. Oh, there's a mirror for Teto on Bottle Vendor. That's going to come in handy. Hitsuyan using that Cane of Samaria. It's a little slow, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, when bombs are pretty important early on, you tend to want to use whatever else you have before using bombs. Teto finding the Moon Pearl in the chicken hut today. Not looking too good on the money side for Teto. Hitsuyan's got 372 versus Teto 6. Oh, but you got a sword off Sick Kid. I think Teto will appreciate that.
Yeah, getting a weapon that's, you know, basically indefinite in its use is always nice. There's 3 more bombs, so that's going to be nice for Teto as well. And I guess we're going to go get our check of Library and Race Game.
So starting out, we got Glove and a Mirror. But those by themselves don't open up too much. Hitsuyan looks like they're going to check back of Escape here. Yeah, no real direction yet that the seed is providing us. Oh, chat telling us that we missed an ice rod on the library, so there's a chance we might be needing those Pegasus boots.
Well, we know where 2 of our pendants are, Pod and Eastern, so very small chance that Turtle Rock is going to be our last pendant, but it is possible. And we did see that bow on the race ledge that Tito's going to be getting. That's kind of something you don't want to see, in my opinion, just because we've got 2 pendant dungeons being Pod and Eastern, but kind of goes to show maybe there is something in those pendant dungeons. People love to dip a pendant Pod and a pendant Eastern. Am I right?
Yep. I like those plays to work out for me. Sometimes I tend to have them not work out. It's not fun. It's not fair.
Yeah, everyone loves when it works out for them. It's always tough when it doesn't work out for you. But Teto going to be making his way over to the flute area and going to be using that shovel to hopefully find some kind of cool item down here.
Surprised that Teto didn't try and farm bombs while he was down there, considering he still only has 3.
Yeah, that's a good point. Alternatively, I guess, you know, he is going to go check back of Escape here, and that could help him out, but we do have the potential of that sword coming into play. You know, you don't have to worry about doing the bomb toss over to the mini Moldorms down in the south. All right, and Teto gonna opt to skip off on Dark Cross. With that just being a heart piece, that could be a little bit of time, you know, down the line if he decides to not ever check that. Could benefit him.
Yeah, it's a decent chunk of time spent trying to fiddle your way through the dark just to get one check, potentially not even a check at all if it's the map or small key.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it doesn't matter how good of a runner you are. 9 times out of 10, if you're doing a dark room, it's always going to be slower than if you have a light source. So that could be Tito's mindset here. But Hitsuyan getting their bow, going to be checking out Kakariko. Meanwhile, Teto going to be draining the dam. That first chest, just a piece of heart. And off we go to quite a few items down here in South Shore. You know, this is pretty much the standard early route.
And with that bow, those arrows are actually going to be a nice snag there for Teto, considering he probably wants to make Mini Moldorm Cave run a little faster, and arrows will give him a better shot at doing such. No pun intended.
Teto doing a nice job of timing that bomb explosion, not wasting any time standing around. But here we are in Mini Moldorm Cave, and good luck shooting these targets. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but Teto seems to be doing a fantastic job with it.
Maybe a bit of commentator's curse there.
Yeah, I
last
should have kept
Moldorm.
my mouth shut. I'm sorry, Teto. There goes that last Moldorm. So now we got 5 items in here. Hitsu getting his mirror. Oh, there's a lot of money and a lamp. So we've got that access, that logical access we were talking about with Dark Cross for those dark rooms. But that also kind of puts Eastern fully into logic now. With that bow, that pendant Eastern kind of is calling. And Teto getting a nice 50-50 drop there from that rock before we check out Ice Rod Cave. And Ice Rod Cave giving us a full heart container, so doing pretty good as far as the defense and the health department now. But Hitsuyan getting that shovel and that bottle, so gonna have to go backtrack to Sick Kid a little bit here to get that sword.
It looks like with that glove and lamp, Teto will make their way up to Death Mountain. With the mirror, you can get up to Tower of Hera. That is basically all you can do at this moment, but it's probably the likely next point of progression this seed will throw at us.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few checks. This is, I think, a pretty smart play. It's going to get you to a crystal. You've got full logical access to clear it. On top of that, it's a 5-6 crystal, so that puts you halfway to potentially doing Pyramid Fairy, if that comes into play. But, you know, I guess you just want to get crystals, obviously, as fast as you can, right? Because that way you get a GT faster.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm sure Teto will appreciate that bit of goodness with the musical instrument, the flute.
Yeah, that's quite the find there. Gonna make some overworld traversing rather easy.
Yeah, that's a big ol' indicator right there that, yeah, you needed a glove to get up here, and you're basically forced to pick it up.
Yeah, there's almost no way around that, or there is no way around that, really, but heart piece up on the Spectacle Rock ledge and just 3 bombs inside. And since we're blessed with the privilege of not having any hints in the league, we don't have to worry about going and getting those bombs and checking that tile. So off we go to Tower of Hera.
Thought maybe Teto would pick up that ferry, but I guess he changed his mind.
Honestly, I was really hoping he'd do a map check there so we could get that information on our last 5-6 crystal and pendant, but we'll get to it soon enough.
I forget how recent of a allowance this glitch that we've done, Hera pot, has been found, but granted we can't do it right now. But you may not be familiar with it if you're new to Rando. If you use the hook shot in such a way, coupled with a bomb to clip you into the pot in the top left of that first floor, you can get yourself stuck in there, and then hook shot to fall down to those ferries, which has a warp that conveniently takes you to near the top. No hook shot today, so that is not an option for Teto. So he'll have to make his way up the normal way.
Yeah, when that's an option that you have in your arsenal, it's huge for potential time saves, and sometimes it can burn you and you skip an item. But speaking of items, we have gotten we've got 2 here in Hera. We found one of them. That was just a big 20 downstairs. But we do have the big chest in Moldorm still. We haven't seen a small key yet, and if we're Teto, we're hoping we don't see a small key. Well then,
stop talking.
Yeah, I guess it's all in what I'm saying here. I'm so sorry. So now we have like a 50-50 shot of whether or not something's going to be in the basement, and I don't know. Given the way Tito's routing right now, if the item ends up being down there, I kind of think Tito's probably just going to go ahead and give that a shot and check it.
Yeah, considering Teto has no other access to do anything up here on Death Mountain. I forget if they already checked Spectacle Rock inside yet, but either way, that's their last thing to do up here, aside from that.
Yeah, and then it's just eastern area, and Hitsu's already been to that area just to check Sahasrara. Nothing really there for us. This is where things get tough here for Teto. Gonna have that fast phase, or the enraged phase, as some people call it, from Moldorm, but does a nice job finishing him off. Getting the second item there, that's our second bottle of the seed. It's going to also be our first crystal, and now guess what? We don't have to do that basement, so that small key worry is out the window.
Okay, I guess you can keep talking. I'm sorry for ever doubting you.
The game just wants to scare us a little bit, but a save and quit from Teto as Hitsu gets his heart container over in Ice Rod Cave. He is exiting, so we may see some sequence breaks here. We've got 481 rupees for Hitsu. Gonna visit down here, and that's gonna get him over 500. With Moon Pearl, we can sequence break and check out Waterfall Ferry as well as Zora area.
Teto, I think, already forgot he has the flute, and he's walking over to Eastern. That's a bit unfortunate there.
Yeah, a little bit of a time sink. Hopefully he remembers he's got it and heads that way soon enough.
Granted, if he's, banking on finding maybe the other glove / the hammer here, it'll only be one instance of a time sink. So I guess it's not the worst. In fact, the fluting over to the eastern area saves probably the least amount of time of all the flutes that you could do.
All right, so Teto checking out Sahasrara's closet, getting those items, also getting that little bit of information before heading to Dark World that green pendant is on Palace of Darkness. The hobo under the bridge not having any progression for us today. Hitsu heading out from there. We'll see what these other water checks have for us. And that's a Bombos medallion up on the Lake Hylia Island, so we may need that. That's our second medallion, at least as far as the knowledge of where it's at. So we still don't know, obviously, what Meyer and TR entry requirements are going to be. That's to be determined, but about to get some item checks, new ones on both sides of the screen for us. That's a big key for Teto. Hitsu getting a heart piece, and unfortunately for him, a heart refill, which puts him back in that swimming state since he was fake flippering to this area. So having to walk back out and back in, and also another heart piece. So no progression here in the waterfall ferry.
Yeah, one way or another, Hitsuyan would have been forced out of that water walk state. So far, the big key and the compass in Eastern, so we still have not found a single item here yet. There's a good chance that one of them will be in the big key chest, which takes the longest to get to in Eastern. Sometimes you see runners skip that, just on the off chance they don't have to do it, but that remains to be seen.
Well then, that's nice to have. So we've got a Master Sword from Zora. The 500 bucks paying off today. And that map showing up for Teto is going to be kind of huge. At this point, we know there is definitely an item, no 50-50 shot, anything like that, but for that original big key spot. So we'll see what happens. Master Sword does put Aga into logic. I guess we're hoping maybe we find a hammer. That would be nice. No one likes doing Aga for no item.
Yeah. I don't know. We got a bow. It may be pointing towards going to Palace of Darkness, honestly.
Yeah, it's very possible. Hitsu finally making his way up the mountain. And, yeah, gonna be getting that flute here pretty shortly. And then can do Hera as well.
Well, so far, the first item in Eastern Palace was half magic. It's nice, but it's no progression.
All right, so our second item in Eastern is just 20 bucks. We do have something on Armos Knights, and looks like Teto is going to go ahead and finish this place up and pick up that item and the pendant here.
Oh, I like what Tito's doing here. He's potentially getting this money in case Zora is required, which at this point, there's a good chance it is with that sword being on him.
Oh, absolutely. That's a room you don't really see a lot in Randomizer, so it's kind of a heads-up play there by Teto, as you were saying, just making use of that free money there.
Alright, we have a quick Dark World map check on Hitsuyan's side. We got the green, we already knew the green pendant was at Pod. The other pendant is at Thieves Town, and the other red crystal is at Ice Palace.
Pendant Thieves Town is something that never really feels good. Because then you kind of have to make like a weird call on if you want to do the first 4 items or do the whole thing, and it can make or break your whole race sometimes. All right, Teto win the Armos Knights fight, got the first 5 arrows off, and gonna get that quick kill. Nicely done. Armos Knights down. That's our first pendant of the seed. Yet to be determined if we need these, but no progression in Eastern Palace today.
Yeah, that I don't think Teto will be feeling pretty good about that just yet. I don't know. It's too early to tell, but that typically doesn't give you a good feeling after completing an empty pendant dungeon.
All right, most likely this is going to be our flute activation for Teto. Teto, I think, does have a couple of overworld checks kind of just out there that Hitsuyan has already done. Zora obviously being one of them. I do not believe that Teto has done a Genis Cave, but Hitsuyan did take a look at that, and that was nothing of value. So Teto may be kind of following in Hitsuyan's footsteps here, while Hitsuyan's kind of catching back up to where things that Tito's already done. All right, and now that Teto has got the flute activated, we'll see where he's going to head next. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan taking on Moldorm. Doing a fantastic job there and taking down Moldorm, getting that first crystal, as well as that bottle. Now we see just a red boomerang there on the ledge on Teto's side.
Trying to remember where Hitsuyan got all this money, because he did have 500 rupees, basically just enough to get Zora.
All right, so Hitsu going to be heading over to Eastern now. And, yeah, this is good news, for Teto for investing that time. But it does look like we have just the straight-up Aga play now for our Dark World access. We have a mirror. We can not really do a whole lot with it as far as Dark World access goes just yet. But I got a feeling something's going to be in Pod, especially since Pendant Eastern was empty. And chat pointing out that Teto is a little short on money right now. So this could be a little problematic. We know that the two items inside of Waterfall Ferry are just 2 heart pieces, so no money is going to be showing up there. This is going to be a little bit of a time sink here, and good news for Hitsuyan there to kind of make up this ground and basically potentially pull ahead from it. All right, so Teto now in the Waterfall Ferry while Hitsuyan's making their way to the western portion of Eastern Palace. Tito's going to be sad to find out what we have here. Same thing happening to him, just like Hitsuyan, getting that full heart refill with the heart piece, and all of a sudden we're swimming in a cave again. There's the half magic there for Hitsu, and Hitsu's going to be full clearing this place out as well. Teto taking a look at that one item, realizing can't do anything with it. I'll be interested to see where Teto goes from here. Obviously, getting the flute out, so looks like we're going to be headed up to Link's house. We're going to escape.
If I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, all the money that Hitsuyan found was in Escape. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think so. That's the only thing that could really be the difference at this point. These guys have really kind of just covered each other's footsteps, almost exact at this point.
Yeah, I think right. So far, Hitsuyan has that early edge, having already been to Zora, so won't have to, make a second trip up there.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for both of these guys. Like, everything they've tried to do has it's been different on both sides, but it's kind of, bit them in the sense of, like, there's nothing really good coming from it. And every time they try to do something with it, it's just, I don't know. It just feels bad because, you know, I've been in their shoes before in this type of scenario where it just feels like nothing's going right. But it's still really close here at this stage because both of them are experiencing the same thing.
Hitsuyan doing the same thing that Teto did by grabbing that extra money there on the right side of Eastern. He, at his current state, he didn't have enough money to go into Pod after killing Aghanim. So that was a heads-up play by Hitsu as well. So Teto did not get Dark Cross when he went to Back of Escape, so he still has a decision to make there if he wants to do that.
I feel like most likely we'll see him do it. There's 10 arrows out of Zelda's cell. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan taking on the Armos Knights, setting up the first 5 arrows just as Teto did, and getting that quick kill to be rewarded with that heart piece as well as the red pendant. Very nicely done.
I believe Hitsuyan knows that he has to go to kill Aghanim at this point.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, at this point, it's basically all that's left. Maybe we see Hitsu activate the flute first, but I don't really know if that would be faster given that we have the mirror. He is starting at the house, so probably going to wait on activating the flute.
Yeah, and on the flip side, you have Teto unfortunately realizing that, yes, Zora does indeed have his last location progression. That's not a good feeling ever. Such a long walk without boots. You have flute to make it a little bit faster, but no boots, just, ugh, gosh.
Yeah, it's not pleasant at all, but neither is climbing, you know, Aga Tower without boots. I mean, it's slow, and no one likes doing it. Chat loves it, though. I think chat likes Aga when that comes into play. Alright, and Teto now at Zora with the money, gonna be basically last locationing the sword. But there's our logical Aga access, and I'm sure Teto is gonna be right behind Hitsuyan.
Alright, so given this current situation, looks like Hitsuyan has at least a minute and a half lead over Teto, probably a bit more. I'm just giving a ballpark estimate.
Yeah, so we've got a couple items in play once they get through Aga, and that's kind of going to be, you know, what you see them do is like, do you want to be risky or do you want to, you know, be safe and go where the density is? We don't have a hammer, so technically we still can't full clear Pod. And with that being green pendant, it has a little bit of appeal to want to full clear that, especially if other things aren't panning out. But, you know, Catfish is quite a long walk, and that's only one item. So, and we do have Pyramid Ledge, but that's free because you're just right there. So, well, it'll be interesting to see if there's any divergence there, and if it pays off for one of them.
Alright, Hitsuyan making his way into Aghanim's room, about to take on the king of trolls and uncontrollable time losses. But at least, you know, your opponent will get the same amount of time loss.
Exactly. I was about to say, so like if you're familiar with the vanilla game, but maybe not Randomizer, when people speedrun the vanilla game, the blue balls that Aga throws out are randomized as far as like the number that it's going to be for the total. And in Rando, that number is seeded, and by that we mean it's going to be the same for Hitsuyan and Teto, barring that they don't miss any shots that they can actually reflect back. So that's one of the good things about Rando. It's just you still have to go through the process, and it takes time. Yet another lightning phase there for Hitsuyan. So not the fastest Aga fight, obviously. But, you know, here we go. Aga finally going down for Hitsu, and we're finally going to get into the Dark World proper.
Alright, first things first, let's see what's on that pyramid, if anything. It is. Hey! That's important.
That is. And now you have a decision to make, and we're going to see if Hitsu, remembering that he does have the mirror, so he's going to be starting back on the pyramid if he saves and quits, and doing what I was curious to see if he would do, grabbing the mitts and deciding to go ahead and save and quit, make use of the mitts, and potentially, you know, go ahead and do the Thieves Town Village of Outcast area. So I mentioned Divergence, based off of, you know, Pod and Catfish, but now that's kind of out the window. We could see Divergence on a completely different thing at this stage.
It'd be interesting to see if Hitsuyan goes ahead and flutes on over to the Mire area to check out Desert, perhaps, the Mire Medallion.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a fire source, and if Desert isn't boots locked, then it's fully clearable, and it's a dungeon we definitely have to clear today.
Alright, here's a potentially big turning point here. Will Teto continue after getting these mitts? Alright, well, Teto is making his way to Catfish. That is a bit of a variant play, because, you know, density is very low.
Yeah, and even with Mirror, you know, you usually see people try to, like, combo Catfish and Zora area together, but we've already done it, so, not able to do that. Hitsu having some issues there with the Cane. I swear, the Cane of Samaria does some weird stuff in this game. It's so unpredictable.
Hitsuyan starting with the middle of Skullwoods so far, only find the compass, gonna head back to the front because no fire rod. That Catfish play didn't really work out, did it?
Yeah, just 10 arrows, but this is going to let him do what you were mentioning earlier. We're going to get that peek at the Mire area, so this is going to be our first look at the Mire Medallion, as well as the Mire Shed, and potentially Desert, too.
So, with that knowledge there, that's Bombos. We need the flippers to get the Bombos medallion off of Hylia Island to get inside Meyer.
Yeah, that's true, but it's not like of super importance right now because, you know, we don't have a hook or boots, so we're not able to actually get into Meyer and clear it. We've got everything else we need to clear it, just no way to get across that initial gap. All right, and with the compass on the torch there in Desert, that is going to mean Desert is not boots locked. This is going to be fully clearable for Teto. That'll be another crystal for him.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Hitsuyan got anything out of the front of Skull Woods, so that's a bit of a wasted play there. But oh, and there's our last medallion there on Bumper Ledge. So barring, you know, Turtle Rock not being Ether, we're gonna need Cape for that.
Yeah, that could be something that we're gonna have to find, unfortunately. But at least we know where that last medallion is. You hate seeing, like, it's just like you hate seeing ice rod hunts. You hate seeing medallion hunts as well, just because it can really swing a race. I mean, it's good and bad. You know, there's like pros and cons to both sides of it. But
other than that, that is all medallion knowledge right there. We know what we need to get all medallions here today. You know, despite not needing boots for Desert, just a reminder, we do need those boots for the ice rod on the library.
oh yeah, absolutely. So they're gonna have to show up at some point. Question is when and where and how fast are we gonna get them? All right, so Teto now in the Landmo fight has that Master Sword out, making use of it, swinging and spinning away at these things. They can be quite pesky. They can certainly end a few runs as well. Hitsuyan checking out C-shaped house forest while Teto in this boss fight, getting just a heart piece. So nothing of progression inside Village of Outcasts just yet. All right, Teto got 2 of the 3 down to just that last one. This is where you get to be a little careful because the extra rocks flying out can end up sapping down your health. But looks like Teto should be okay here. Getting that final spin in, and down goes Landmo. That's going to be his second crystal, and there's 10 arrows for his troubles. So no progression there either. Hitsu checking out front of Thieves Town right now. We've got 4 checks. We'll see if he decides to do the full thing or if we get some progression and head out.
Finds a small key to start off there. It's not the greatest feeling to see that first, since you're hoping to not have to do the big chest. But he does find those boots that we do need this seed.
So now, I mentioned we didn't have a way into Meyer. We do now, but we've got to find flippers. And they could still end up here too, so, I mean, it could be kind of wild how this all pans out, but we're getting new checks on both of these guys' sides, which is always a good thing. And just another bottle and checkerboard, so Teto gonna head out from there into Kakariko area, gonna be headed into Dark World. We'll see if he decides to go ahead and do Skull Woods like Hitsu did, or just decide to head directly into the Village of Outcast area.
Looks like it's the latter, and assuming he goes into Thieves Town right now, he'll get his boot.
And correct me if I'm wrong, we found, was it 1 or 2 items in the front of Thieves Town? I know we've got the small and the big key, and we got the boots, but did we get a second item?
I want to say we did not. I want to say we found a map or compass, but I could be wrong. Yeah, chat confirming. We only found the boots in the front.
So with 3 in the back, I mean, there is the possibility Teto could make the play. You know, boots obviously makes it a little more appealing. You know, the problem is with that that small key, you're going to be potentially orphaning something.
Hitsuyan gonna go ahead and get the ice rod before he forgets, since he's right by it.
All right, Teto does have that mirror out and making use of it, so going to make the same play Hitsu did and decide to leave there. Meanwhile, Hitsu is grabbing our friend the frog, gonna turn him into a blacksmith and see what kind of item he's holding today.
Hey, that's something we can do right here, right now, if Hitsuyan decides. With the flute, this makes this check a bit nicer without hammer. He's not going to do it, though, looks like.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where you just kind of have to leave your portal, and it's like, do you really want to do that? But opting to skip it, so could it could come back to bite him, but at the same time could be, you know, a little bit of a time save. All right, so here's a new check for us. Teto going to be checking out the Bonk Rocks, just 50 bucks. Not really panning out for him. Oh, there's a Fire Rod on Hitsuyan's side in K45, so Mirror leading to that. That's going to give us our full clear ability for Skull Woods.
Well, Hitsuyan just left the purple chest there.
Yeah, that's well, there's our flippers, so we can get bombos. We can do Meyer now. This is turning out to be quite interesting. The chest, just Hitsu leaving that chest. Unfortunately, that could be huge. It could be a huge time save for him if it turns out to be nothing. But I guess that's we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so Hype Cave, pretty bland. Not a whole lot going on there. Hitsuyan is richer for his troubles, but that's about it. So with flippers in hand, I guess this is where you grab bombos. Hitsu has not checked out the Meyer area, and we'll actually be able to, you know, go ahead and clear that out, as well as Desert, if he does head on over there. All right, so Teto playing the dig game, not going to be able to get any progression from it. Unfortunately, Hitsu's in the same boat though. Nothing in Meyer's shed, but Meyer is going to be a new check for us. Will be interesting to see if Hitsuyan decides to go ahead and knock that out. I'm sure he will, as well as Desert. So it's crystals. We've got to get them done. You can full clear everything. You know, it's basically the most ideal time to do it.
So at this point, I think it may be go ahead and worth going over what we need for Gomo. We're kind of getting low on required items. We would need hook shots to beat Swamp. We would need the hammer as well. I think that might be it, honestly.
And there's our big key for Hitsuyan. Looks like he's going to go ahead and go take out the boss. Teto grabbing his powder. So now that decision that Hitsuyan skipped out on is back on the table. Will we go ahead and check out Magic Bat and sacrifice our portal here? And it looks like that is exactly what we are going to do. So this is something Hitsu skipped. We'll see if that's going to benefit him or potentially bite him.
Leaving that purple chest there makes me think Teto is going to continue walking outside after he's done. Just a mail upgrade, though.
All right, so if you're just joining us just a little while ago, Hitsuyan did accidentally leave the purple chest behind somewhere on the way down. Is it going to bite him? No. It's just a blue rupee today. So Hitsu getting the luck on his side as he takes down Landmo, getting that second crystal.
Well, I mean, if Hitsuyan never does it again, he's fine, but I can't say I'm surprised. He was probably just put it on the back of his mind for the rest of this seed.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you make a mistake like that, you know, if you've got a ton of other checks to do, it's best not to, like, loot back. It's more of a, you know, you kind of have to commit to the mistake. You end up wasting more time going back and forth in a lot of cases, but Hitsuyan finding out in checkerboard just a bottle there. So going to be heading away. Actually not doing... No, going to be heading back to the portal. I was about to say skipping out on Meyer. I was kind of surprised, but he is headed back in now.
He did just beat Desert, didn't he?
Correct.
Okay, so the reason he fluted back to get in the portal again is because he wanted to restore his variable to do spooky later. Since Desert is a crystal, it nullifies setting up spooky for my.
Indeed. So that is beneficial. So it does make a lot of sense. It is a time save in the long run. Alright, so there's our big key in Skullwood. So Teto going to probably go ahead and give us the check of this. Hitsu getting the big key. We've got basically a Godmire situation. But unfortunately, we're not in go mode, so we're probably going to be looking for both of these items. It seems to always be a Godmire when you can't go mode it. It seems to always work out that way.
Yeah, but Hitsuyan's gonna go ahead and keep checking for items over in the front of Meyer. Alright, Teto about to feel a little bit silly here. Picking up this fire on just a second. Be cursing the rando god, say, "Why? I just left Skullwoods."
Yeah, both of these guys just not really having a bad time, but nothing's really seeming to like work out heavily in either one's favor at the moment. It's just kind of the way these items are placed today. And Hitsuyan having a little bit of trouble pushing the blocks and getting the fire rod to go through the block, but manages to get it done, gonna light all 4 torches.
This is really dumb, but after Hype Cave here, Teto could opt to check the first chest of Swamp, which is such a... It's like one of the worst checks that could possibly have like something that leads to hammer, just because that means it took forever to get there in the first place.
I mean, we still have Palace of Darkness just chilling over there, a pendant pod at that, and I know we don't have hammer to clear it, but it's got 5 items. And neither one of them have even checked it yet, so hammer could end up there too. It would be unfortunate, but... Alright, so Teto not going to take the swamp bait right now, and going to be getting that Bombos. He does know... I don't know if he knows that Bombos is actually here. He may just be checking it.
He
gonna
saw
be getting
it.
it.
I remember him seeing it.
Okay. Now, he does have everything in hand to go ahead and do ice, except we don't have a hammer. Is this one of the fabled scenarios of the hammer is an ice palace? I guess not. He's not going to pretend that's happening. Off the mire we go, I guess.
And good thing, too, because Hitsuyan just found the hook shot in the big chest. So, I think this is very much looking like a hammer go mode scenario, assuming we don't need ether.
And with Hook, that puts East Death Mountain in play, as well as the Dark Mountain. It's not that unlikely to see a hammer over there. Very probable. A lot of item density, but looks like these guys are kind of even. The advantage is slightly towards Hitsuyan at the moment. Basically, this one dungeon ahead, or a partial dungeon ahead. It's still pretty close, all things considered. Alright, so Teto going to be getting Big Key, or the Big Key for Meyer. And Hitsuyan going to be heading to take on Vitreous. Going to be a Master Sword Vitreous, but does have the 30 arrows. Doesn't have hammer, so it's probably just going to be some spins. We do have a Cane of Burna. Don't know if he's going to be utilizing that, but looks like we are getting the NMG strats. Just no Tempered Sword. And we do have a blue goo in hand, so that's going to pay off for us as well. And phase 1 of Vidi is done. And just 8 arrows to the big eye. Down he goes. So that's going to be 10 bombs. So that's our second item here. But we do get another crystal, so that's going to bring that crystal count up to 3. And as my co-con Relkin was mentioning just a while ago, it does appear that we are just a hammer from Go mode. And we're still sub 1 hour at the moment. Teto trying to gets spooky action. It's not panning out for him. Did go ahead and go to the back, skipping out on hookshot. I hope he does go back and check the rest of everything here. Hitsuyan taking a couple laps around the bridge or the ladder here at Death Mountain. But does finally make his way on over to the eastern portion. So this will be new checks for us. We do have a ton of items over here. And Teto opting for the dash strats with the Cane of Burna. Basically getting a shot in on every single eyeball each pass. Doing a nice job. And down goes phase 1 for Teto.
Alright, I guess the question is, once again, does he go back in for that hook shot? I mean, he has the big key. He could go straight to the right side if he wants.
See, if he does that, he gains a good chunk of time, because Hitsu full cleared the entire dungeon. So, I mean, it's an opportunity. With him having that small key, though, he may be tempted to just go ahead and go left.
Alright. As we did guess, he is going back in, so this is good for Teto. Time to figure out what Turok requires. It is Bombos. We do not need that cape. So we are, in fact, Hammer for Go.
Hammer Go mode is like the best and the worst feeling all at the same time. Because there's so many limiting places it can't be. But at the same time, it never feels good getting the hammer that late.
Yeah, no. It kind of forces the seed into a linearity that, like, just basically makes it an execution race. So it's like you don't gain or lose any time on your opponents doing different decisions. But, you know, can't ask too much from Rando now, can you?
Yeah, and unfortunately for Teto, going to be heading to the left side first, so is going to be full clearing. Hey, you mentioned cape. There it is on Hitsuyan's side. He did also get one of Relkin's favorite items. He picked up that shield, so we do have Babby's first shield.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear you there.
So this is our first look at Spiral Cave. I think did Hitsuyan completely skip out on Paradox? I didn't see him do that. So I mean, left 7 items there, kind of bundling it in here with Spiral. So that makes a lot of sense.
Does get a nice bonus there, a tempered sword in Spiral Cave.
Yeah, tempered is a welcome find, especially when you don't have silvers. It just makes the Ganon fight not feel like it lasts for 7 eternities. When you're the runner for the seed, but first 2 items there at Paradox for Hitsuyan's side, not panning out for him. We'll see if the other 5 have anything. Meanwhile, Teto is going to go ahead and do Skull Woods.
There is that hammer in Paradox Cave. That is go mode for Hitsuyan at 1 hour and 1 minute and 55 something seconds.
It's a pretty quick go mode. You always want like right around 1 hour. It puts you in a really good spot. So Hitsuyan pretty much in the driver's seat at this point. Has Tempered Sword, full go mode here. Just going to be able to blow through all these dungeons. Luckily everything's pretty quick except Turtle Rock. I mean, Ice Palace is a nice quick go mode as well as Swamp. So this is going to work out well for him. Alright, so Teto dropping in on Moth now. Does have Master Sword, so not going to be the easiest fight, but with half magic, a couple of safeties, should be just fine. And down goes Moth for Teto. Very nicely done. Going to be getting that 4th crystal here. And we'll see where Teto decides to go next. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan, inside the depths of Swamp Palace, going to be go-moding this. It's pretty quick go-mode, especially when you get to skip all these chests. No left side checks. No backside checks either. I'll be interested to see here if like Teto decides to do Paradox first, because if he does, there is that opportunity where if he gets Hammer and he just starts go-moding everything, we may see him skip Tempered, which would actually, you know, give him more of a disadvantage as far as execution going down the stretch.
Yeah, judging by the fact that he's starting with Paradox first, it looks like he will not get that Tempered Sword that's in Spiral Cave. At least not just yet. It's very doubtful he'll go for Spiral Cave when he has go mode.
I mean, in all honesty, I'm going to skip Spiral Cave if I'm in his shoes, because, you know, you're going to hit go mode here, and at that point, it's just, you know, stop wasting time doing overworld checks. So there's that Hammer of the Book as well. Is going to go ahead and open up these chests, getting the 3 bombs, $50, and a piece of heart. But we'll see what Tito's next move is. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan's in the back, taking on Argus. That Tempered Sword going to make quick work of these puffs.
But the way that Teto is routing the mountain, it looks like he could go ahead and opt to do Turtle Rock while he's up here.
And that's true, and we're sitting up here, you know, kind of knowing what the medallion is. Teto doesn't have that knowledge yet, so Teto is going to have to get that knowledge of, you know, that it is Bombos for Turtle Rock. So that is kind of one unknown on his side. Alright, so now that Teto has seen that, he knows he's in go mode. Looks like he is going to go ahead and check these other places out. Maybe hoping for a Tempered. This is pretty quick. Unfortunately, he's not going to find it in here.
So Tito's gonna leave Turtle Rock for last, by the looks of it.
Yeah, and unfortunately floating away, so not going to be getting Tempered, so going to be a little bit of a disadvantage here, but should be fine heading on through these last few dungeons to go mode. Hitsuyan is having quite the time in ice right now, but does manage to finally fall through the hole. Very nicely done.
This ice pal is probably getting on Hitsu's nerves a bit here. See if that affects his gameplay at all.
Manages to get that bomb jump no problem, which is pretty good considering you used so many bombs in that other room. Alright, so Teto making his way to the main hub of Swamp. Gonna be headed to the back to take on Argus. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan's gonna drop in on our favorite Puff, Cold Stare. Gonna take 8 of these fire rod shots to melt that outer shell, already done. And, yeah, phase 2 just keeping him in the corner here. Does take a hit, gonna have to be a little careful. 2 puffs down, and down goes that third one. And that is going to be, I believe, crystal number 5 for Hitsuyan. So just needing to do Skull Woods and Turtle Rock. Alright, Tito's going to head to the back and check these 2 flooded chests. We didn't get to see these earlier, but it's just a big key and 3 bombs, so going to leave those and see. We'll see if he does the waterfall chest. If he did those, I'm inclined to think he's going to check this too. It looks like he is. Unfortunately, just the map, but off to Argus for him. Alright, Teto heading into the Argus fight. Going to be trying to pull 2 puffs at a time. Well, I said that, and now he's pulling 1, but Master Sword going to take 2 of these swipes per puff, or 1 spin. Temper does give you a bit of a time advantage here, and that's kind of why we were saying that Hitsu had that little bit of an advantage by finding that Tempered Sword. But here we go into phase 2 for Teto. And down goes Argus for Teto. Very nicely done. It's going to be crystal number 5 for him as well.
Oh, that was strange. I see on the supports there, he wasted a couple of fire rods. That was
Alright, so Hitsuyan dropping in on Maltula now. Does have Tempered Sword. So just needs 4 swipes as long as the spike doesn't get in the way, and that's exactly what happened. Very nicely done. It's going to be crystal number 6, so off we go to Turtle Rock, and that's everyone's favorite crystal dungeon because Go mode is just basically exactly like full clearing it. You barely get to skip anything. Alright, so while these guys are kind of heading around, if you're just joining us, this has been kind of an interesting seed. Both of these guys kind of getting funneled together to get that second sword off of Zora. And that was our logical, through Aghanim, that was our logical Dark World access, with Mitz being on Pyramid, and then from there it was a lot of divergence between the two. And a hammer for go mode is kind of what the story came down to, and Hitsuyan made it to that first before Teto did. So that's kind of where we stand. They're pretty close, all things considered, with Hitsuyan being in the lead as far as the crystal count and where he's at. Plus having that tempered sword, it's his race to lose at this point. I think we'd have to see something major happen, but things could happen. You know, it's not always a guaranteed thing.
So what you're saying is, you think the major mistakes need to happen on the other team, not the team named us up.
I guess so. All right, so Hitsuyan making his way into Turtle Rock. And then we got to do a whole lot of searching in here for a big key. All right, Teto dropping in on Cold Stare now, opting to use Bombos. A little bit slower, but does preserve a good bit of magic. And considering he's on Master Sword, wants to have a few Fire Rod shots for Phase 2, since they do the Gold Sword damage. Does a fine job there, taking down Cold Stare. That's going to be his 6th crystal as well, so he'll be heading off to Turtle Rock here very shortly. Alright, so I did a little digging here. Twitch chat has been asking this question quite a bit. What sprite is Teto using? And it is called Jogurt. That is the sprite that Teto is using, so if you go to the Randomizer website, you too can play as Jogurt.
Alright, so Hitsuyan on his way to steal the Poke Key, unless I missed the big vanilla. But either way, halfway through Turtle Rock, and Teto making his way up to Turtle Rock.
And there's that vanilla big key for Hitsuyan. You know, I'm trying to think here. It's unlikely, given how long the Ganon fight, or the difference could be with the Master Sword and the Tempered Sword, but there's still especially if there's a sword that shows up inside a GT, this could come down to GT routing still. I mean, it's not out of the spectrum of possibilities, because these guys are still pretty close.
And this race isn't over. Like, I get it. I mean, so not over till the Dylan is in SRL, IRC. So, just to see how this plays out, see if there's any interesting GT shenanigans.
Alright, so which chest is it going to be on Laser Bridge, giving us our small key? It's going to be the last one. But we did get the blue boomerang, so our menu is nice and neat now. Alright, so Hitsu heading into the try-next fight here. Down goes the first head, and going to be taking out the second one. Does take a hit there. Luckily, only gets the one cycle, and off we go to phase 2. Ooh, Hitsuyan taking a hit here. Gonna have to be careful. Basically in one-hit KO mode at this point, but all worries aside, does take Trinex down.
Yeah, that would probably have been the worst thing that Hitsu could have done there, is take a death on Trinex.
Alright, so Relkin spit the command in chat, and you guys are throwing in numbers, but if you don't know what's going on, throw your number in chat. Guess the number between 1 and 22. We know you guys love to play the GT Big Key guessing game. That's where we're headed next. We have to find that big key so we can get to the top and take down Aga 2 so we can get to Ganon. Because that's like the final boss and stuff. So we're opening up GT now, and we're going to close off these guesses as soon as he gets inside.
We have about 15 seconds, let's say.
All right, Relkin, let's do the thing. What's your guess?
I'll go with 21, just to make it seem like it's going to be tile room, but not quite.
You know, I'm going to guess number 14, because why not?
Starting off here, we got a small key and a single arrow. Hitsu going to continue right here. Coming up on numbers 3 through 6 here.
All right, so we've gone through 6 chests and no key just yet. No big key, at least. We've had plenty of small keys, though.
It was there all along. Number
Wow.
7 is your answer.
And congratulations to Mr. Bus Driver for winning today's guessing game. Getting 41 points. I think those are kind of like an old TV show's points where they don't really matter, but congratulations just the same. Making it onto that leaderboard. Teto gonna be taking down Trinex here. Gonna have a few extra cycles potentially because of that Master Sword, opting to use those instead of Hammer.
Alright, over on Tito's side, he's taking down the 2 fire elemental heads of Trinex. Gotta take down the main one now.
Alright, so Teto heading on over to Ganon's tower. Meanwhile, Hitsuyan in land mode 2 here. Gonna have to be careful, down to just 2.5 hearts.
I want to say he has a fairy in a bottle.
I know he does have a blue potion. I would say he's a little low on magic. He's gonna go ahead and use that, so crisis potentially averted. And Teto going to be following in Hitsuyan's footsteps and heading to right side.
Tion not going to check these upper chests by the looks of it. Might take a look at what's in Moldorn's chest here. Takes down Moldorn. Got to head on up to the Agatu.
He's gonna leave it. So, off we go to Agatu.
Yep, and Tion will be fighting Ganon with Tempered Sword and no silvers. Does have half magic and a lamp, so it should be a lot easier because of that. Ooh, nice start. That looked like it was a double. That could have been triple.
Yeah, I think we've got a double-double right now, just because of the way those the triple hit. Yeah. Nice 3 cycle there, 2-2-2. And off we go to Ganon.
And then spouting off some weird tidbits or whatever, and off we go in the fight.
So the way this Ganon fight is going to work, we already are in phase 2. Each of phase 1 and 2 takes 13 swipes or 12 swipes or 6 spins, as spins do double damage. There is a second blue goo there for Hitsuyan. Going to go ahead and use that to avoid taking a death. But we're already in phase 3, so just need 1 swipe per jump, I guess, from Ganon. And we're going to make the floor fall down. And then we'll be off into phase 4. And considering we don't have silvers, we're going to have to do a spin slash on this pig, 12 times? And then 12 seems to be the magic number. All right, down goes land mode 2 for Teto. Going to be heading on up the tower. Hitsuyan well deep into phase 4 here.
Takes a little bit of a hit there. Not knocking him off course though. Still got this fight pretty well under control.
Yeah, all things considered, should be fine. I think he's only got 2 hits left, maybe 1. Yeah, just that last one. And down goes the big pig for Hitsuyan. With the sword in the air, all things seem to be secure. So go ahead and get those GGs in chat for Hitsuyan and Team Awesome. Gonna be crossing that line in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 6 seconds. Giving them a victory here in Game 2. Giving them a nice start to their season. So that's going to be 2 wins for them today. Major mistakes. Looks like they are going to go ahead and, with Teto, going to finish this out. But I got to say, in both of these games today, Major Mistakes played very well, like against the defending champs. Looking very strong, holding their own. I mean, it's just a little bit of a routing thing kind of making the difference today.
Yeah, I think I remember talking to people about how much the community is leveled up in terms of skill and how things are just kind of getting closer and closer together in terms of skill gap. Yeah, definitely to reiterate, yeah, Team Major Mistakes, hats off. You're a contender here. Like, watch out for any of these teams that you think like, well, they got to get through this team, so it's gonna be hard. Well, I think most teams in this league have potential. Like, it's not being nice at all. I'm being serious here. So like,
yeah, and especially we get into different weeks. I mean, this is kind of our normal random mode, if you want to call it that. And you know, there with entrance being a week, you know, with cross keys, there's a lot of variables that could come into play. So yeah, the league's just so exciting because of how, you know, how much variance there is, and it just kind of requires you to have skill in pretty much everything. Teto getting a nice triple there, so he's going to get the 3 cycle, it looks like, but basically a 2-3-1. Nicely done, and looks like we're going to get a nice Master Sword Silverless fight from Teto. All right, Teto taking on the big pig now. So the way this is going to work, we've got to do 12 spins for phase 1, 12 spins for phase 2, 1 spin 4 different times in phase 3, and then we're going to need a massive 24 spins to finish off phase 4. So that's 52 in total. It's quite a large number. It does take a little bit of time. This is kind of what we were, referring to with the way the time gap could be between these two swords, not only against the bosses, like the regular bosses of the game, but Ganon does take up a little bit of extra time this way. So Teto going to be making use of the cape here, getting some double spins in. This should go ahead and push him into phase 3. Does take a hit there. Gonna have to be careful not to take a hit from an fire bat. That was awfully close. So the silvers, I didn't see this on Hitsuyan side, but the silvers look to be over on in Swamp Palace. Oh no, looks like we're gonna be doing this. No torch glitch, so we gotta light both of these things. With lamp and half magic though, this should be very doable.
Gonna go ahead and drink that potion just so he can be prepared for the next few hits.
Yeah, you could definitely still get at least 2, maybe 3 if he's lucky here. No, it doesn't look like we have enough time for 3, but double's still gonna pan out nice.
Now, does he have another potion? I don't remember.
I think he does. I don't think he used it like Hitsu did up in GT, so he should still have that second blue goo. And I'll be honest, I haven't been counting, so we got to get to that magic number of 24. But Teto looking real strong right here, especially if he does have that other blue goo, then he should be set. We'll be able to take quite a few hits in case anything happens with these fire bats.
Yeah, confirmed. Yep, they're using the potion there, yes. Just needs probably on the order of 8 or so more, I feel. It's gotta be close, right? I mean...
Yeah, I'm getting a little nervous about his magic situation, but oh, there we go. Down goes Ganon for Teto. The Master Sword Silverless kill there for you. I've never seen this before. He was up on that top that top pixel, lighting both torches. That was fantastic.
So
get your GGs.
But he's in there.
Yeah, get the GGs in chat there for Teto, finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 23 seconds. And let's see if we can get these guys in here for a quick interview. And it looks like we are now joined in chat by both Hitsuyan and Teto. Congratulations and GG to both of you.
Yeah, congratulations, Hitsu, GG.
Yeah, thanks, guys. GG's.
So Hammer Go mode, not always something that you enjoy having, but that was the case today. That does lock you out of a good bit of checks. So Hitsu, we'll start with you. Tempered Sword kind of worked out really nice for you, doing the Spiral Cave route first.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, that was a fail for me. I'm very rusty at the moment. I don't play it for 3 weeks or something. Yeah, and that was fail. My Death Mountain routing was fail and it paid off.
Well, it worked out for you in the end, so I mean.
And also I had some controller issues with the purple chest and passing some doors. My character's glitching away or something, I don't know.
Well, all things considered, you did a fantastic job. Teto, I gotta say, doing a very nice job of keeping your composure with not getting the torch glitch and doing a fantastic job with that Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight.
Oh yeah, thanks. I missed at least 2 hits or something like that, but yeah, those baits were crazy. They just flew around the torch, and yeah, the race was over to this moment. So I thought, whatever, just play it safe. You got 2 blue potions, and yeah, just use the fireword.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not sure. I know we waited for the 10-minute delay to catch back up, but kind of the big difference only in this race, initially, Hitsu only kind of made one check or one visit to the Zora area, had a very small lead. Once the mitts happened, you guys had quite a bit of divergence, and it was just kind of who got to the hammer first. And unfortunately for you, Teto, it was Hitsuyan today. And then the Tempered Sword kind of added to it. But other than that, this race was fantastic to watch. It was super close. Great job by both of you guys. A great way to kick this league off with Yoshi and Catabat playing earlier, and you guys today. So I want to say thank you for putting on this match for us.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, now the league can finally start. Tomorrow there are so many games planned for the next days and weeks at least. Yeah, this was a race. Who got the hammer first, or at least who is going to do some crazy play, and this shouldn't pay off in the seed. I mean, sometimes you just think, come on, let's do Ice Palace, or I was nearly going first chest Swamp or something like this, and those decisions could have, make the difference here. But in this case, Hitsu just played it great, and even with the Death Mountain fail playing, or whatever he wants to call it, he got the tempered, and yeah, this was a great race.
Well, we don't want to hold you up too long. We know you want to potentially do the interview over the German restream as well. So we do want to say thank you guys again. Anything you guys want to say, kind of wrapping up these interviews, unless Relkin has any questions, but any final thoughts from you guys going forward?
Yeah, thanks
Oh,
for
I
the
only
commentary.
want to say thanks
Yeah,
for
of course.
commentating, tracking, all the stuff every time.
And be excited for the next games on the league.
And I want to say on stream, Verlaine is a traitor.
So if you guys don't know what's going on there, Thelane was on Team Awesome in Season 1, but has decided to join a different team here for Season 2. So going to be on a different team, though. So that's why it's calling Thelane a traitor. So we'll see how that pans out for them going forward. So thank you guys again for popping in, doing this interview, and as well as the race. It was fantastic to watch, and I wish both of you guys and your teams the best of luck going forward here in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, and one more quick ask here: do you guys play next week? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh, next week it should be reheated leftovers on our side in week 2.
I think it's Ramond and me.
Yeah, who's playing in our team? I think we're going to play a Cutterbet Alex Hex. But it's not 100% decided right now.
And Hitsuyan, what team do you play next week? What team do you play again?
I don't know.
Well, we're just getting started with the league. We are in those open defeat Ganon seeds. Next week 2 that we're referring to is going to be Ambrosia, so that'll be a whole lot of fun. We'll explain more about that when those matches actually come up on the air. But yeah, so best of luck to you guys in the coming weeks, and yeah, thanks for putting this race on for us.
Yep, thank you for the good race, guys, and see you guys later.
Yes, here, have a great evening.
All right, I think that will do it for us on this end.
We've got to let the stats play because, you know, fantasy people are doing fantasy teams with this league almost like people do fantasy football. So there's the stats for Teto finally coming up on the screen. We'll let those kind of pan out before we close everything out here. But yeah, there's a whole lot going on tomorrow, tons of matches. So make sure you follow SpeedGaming or this channel and 2 through 5 as well as the ALTTPR League Twitch channels as well. There's going to be so much action happening. If you didn't get enough rando during the fall tournament, this is your chance to get in even more rando. I do want to give a quick shout out to Ricky of Kakiri for tracking for us today, doing a fantastic job, clicking all the buttons, making the things light up at the bottom. That is the unsung hero job because that is what keeps commentators like me and Relkin in line, and we kind of know what's going on as well as you in chat. So a big thanks to Ricky for doing that. I'm going to throw it over to Relkin to give us the final word here before we close this out.
Thank you. Yeah, you mentioned fantasy. Yeah, we came up with that this year. It is basically if you know anything about fantasy football or other kind of major sport, we're kind of doing this similarly to that, where you draft up a team and you rank each other based off of how well you think they're going to do, and you draft them, and they earn points for you over the season. I believe it's now at this point we are past the point where you can create leagues. So if you just track and see how well your teams are doing, and see who you win among your friends for where the points don't matter. Again, hey, I mean, it's kind of a common theme, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like the GT Big Key guessing game, right?
Exactly. And one more shout out to SpeedGaming for letting us use their channels to host these league matches. We'll be using a bunch more. Also with the ALTTPR league channels, we'll be using those a bunch too, especially with these first few weeks of the league up until the playoffs. We got a lot of rando content for you here from the Links to Past Randomizer League. Starting tomorrow, there's going to be a whole lot of matches, and after that, there'll be a whole lot of matches basically up until the playoffs. So be looking forward to all of those. We got plenty of content coming up. And I think with that, we will go ahead and wrap things up here on this channel. Thank you for watching. I've been Relkin, and my co-commentator Dante, and our tracker Ricky of Kokiri. See you guys later.